Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Alrighty, so Best of the Super Juniors, New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors is on the way. We had that day, the opening night of the A Block took place earlier this morning here in Canada. It was 7 p.m., of course, in Japan, but it was on here 4 in the morning. And Ace Austin made his Best of the Super Juniors tournament debut. It's actually Best of the Super Juniors 29 tournament. Ace Austin took on Clark Connors, Impact Wrestling X Division champion. Let me correct myself. Impact Wrestling X Division champion Ace Austin took on Clark Connors in the opening Best of the Super Juniors 29 tournament match, and Ace Austin was victorious. Said he looked great. Ace Austin looked great. He wore the X Division championship to the ring. I thought he did a tremendous job. There was one spot where Clark Connors, it was either an elbow or a knee off the top rope, and it looked like Ace Austin might have turned the wrong way, and it looked like he got caught right in the face or right in the head. Bit of a scary moment, but he seemed to be okay. And of course, he won the match with his finishing move, the fold, and he got 2 points. So it was great to see Impact Wrestling X Division champion Ace Austin getting 2 points. And the next show will be on Tuesday, May 17th. I think it's on 5:30 in the morning here in Canada and in the U.S. as well. It's on New Japan Pro Wrestling World, their streaming service. Ace Austin will be teaming with Tiger Mask. I can't remember who their opponents are, but he will be teaming with Tiger Mask. But congratulations, Ace Austin, for getting that first win. I was reading a tweet he put out that he was a bit nervous, obviously, understandably as well. It was his best, I think it's his first time ever in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think it's his first time ever in Japan. I know for sure it's his first time in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, but he did a great job. He really made Impact Wrestling fans proud. I could say that for sure. But great job, and I'm looking for his second match. I'm not sure who his second match is going to be against. I don't have it here in front of me. Actually, let me. No, actually, I'm not gonna. I'll stick. I'll stick to the script. Not sure who his second match is going to be against, but his second match, I believe, is on Wednesday or Thursday, and why don't I go take a look? Let's see who his second match is. Take me a few seconds here. So let's go to New Japan Pro Wrestling World. I'm sure everybody here wants to know. So done. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Whoop. Nope. But as I'm doing, I bet he did. Clark Connors is a great talent, former New Japan Pro Wrestling Young Lion, in wrestling for New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. It's his first Best of Super Junior tournament as well, and yeah, he's a tough opponent, but it was a great match. Between Ace Austin and Clark Connors. So let's see. So he will be facing on May 18th. Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So his next opponent will be Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Will be his opponent on May 18th, Wednesday, May 18th. So there you go. So that's his second opponent. I could see Ace Austin getting the win there too. I can see Ace Austin getting the win over Kanemaru. Kanemaru, I believe he lost his match today. Let me just take a quick look here. I believe he lost his match. Let me pull up who he faced today. I mean, I should remember. I did watch it. Oh yeah, he went up against Alex Zane and he did lose. So Yoshinobu Kanemaru will be facing Ace Austin, and I can see Ace Austin getting another 2 points in this tournament. I'm looking forward to Ace Austin against Alex Zane. That's going to be an interesting match. Also, Ace Austin against Francesco Akira should be absolutely fantastic. And of course, he's going to have to go one-on-one with Hiromu Takahashi as well. So Ace Austin has a lot of tough matches ahead of him. A lot of of tough matches ahead of him. I can see him doing well. You got Taji Ishimori as well. You got Sho and Yo, who he's going to have to face as well. So Ace Austin has his work cut out for him, but I could definitely see him winning his next match against Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So looking forward to that. But again, great job by Ace Austin. And speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, tournaments, July 16th is the opening night of probably the most prestigious, not probably, but the most prestigious New Japan Pro Wrestling tournament, and maybe even one of the most prestigious tournaments in the world right now, the G1 Climax. And that starts on July 16th, and it goes through August 18th. So again, same as Best of the Super Juniors, there's going to be an A block, and there's going to be a B block. And I'm thinking, after his match, first of all, just go back. Now that New Japan Pro Wrestling is bringing wrestlers in from all over the world, with the whole COVID restrictions now being lifted, now that they're bringing in wrestlers from all over the world, Best of the Super Juniors, we see AEW's Wheeler Yuta, TJP, not well, he's at AEW TJP, but the TJP is in Best of the Super Juniors. We say Alex Zane, indie star Alex Zane in the Best of the Super Juniors. From Mexico, we have Teton. Of course, we have Ace Austin from Impact Wrestling. Now that they're bringing in wrestlers from all over the world, I think it's only fitting, and I think it's only right that the Impact Wrestling World Champion, Josh Alexander, gets a spot in New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax starting in July. Josh Alexander proved that he belongs, proved that he could hang with the best of the best in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He proved it against Minoru Suzuki. But Minoru Suzuki, not signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling, he could wrestle basically anywhere. But he mainly focuses on New Japan Pro Wrestling. But he has an open-ended contract where he can wrestle anywhere. Josh Alexander against Tomohiro Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii, New Japan Pro Wrestling legend. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's been in multiple G1 Climax tournaments, and Josh Alexander gave him a five-star war, and he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he deserves a spot in New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax tournament starting again in July. So there's without a doubt, if they're going to be bringing in wrestlers from all over the world, Josh Alexander, the Impact Wrestling World Champion, deserves a spot in the G1 Climax. And again, like I said, there's an A block and there's a B block. There's going to be 10 wrestlers in the A block, 10 wrestlers in the B block. It goes on a point system. Whoever has the most points after the tournament is over. There's a final match between the winner of the A block and the winner of the B block. And the winner of that match goes on to Wrestle Kingdom in January to face whoever the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion is. Right now, it's Kazuchika Okada. It's most likely going to be Kazuchika Okada in January, but Josh Alexander deserves that shot. He deserves that shot. He proved, like I said, that he can hang with the best of the best in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I'm thinking some of the potential matchups for Josh Alexander in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Josh Alexander against Shingo Takagi would be absolutely incredible. A rematch against Tomohiro Ishii would be fantastic. Tetsuya Naito. I know Tetsuya Naito is getting an operation on his eye. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the G1. Jeff Cobb is there. Kota Ibushi. I know Kota Ibushi is having not too happy with New Japan Pro Wrestling management right now. They're having a little verbal war. So I'm not sure what's going on with Kota Ibushi, but I can't see Kota Ibushi leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's rumored that it could be just part of a storyline. But Josh Alexander against Kota Ibushi would be absolutely out of this world. Josh Alexander against Zack Sabre Jr. Hiroshi Tanahashi said, well, Sonata is injured as well. Not sure if he'll be back if Hiroki Goto is involved. Lots of fantastic potential matchups. And Josh Alexander can hang with them all. He can hang with them all. Whoever you put in the ring with Josh Alexander, he can hang with, he will give you a tremendous match regardless of on who the opponent is. Even Toriano, who I'm not a big fan of, would be Josh Alexander would turn it into a fantastic match. Toriano is more of a comedy type wrestler, but he definitely deserves a spot. He definitely deserves a spot in the G1, and I would be very, very surprised if they're not even if they're not at this point considering bringing Josh Alexander in for the G1 Climax tournament. And I hope if they do, that he is still the Impact Wrestling World Champion and he goes there as the Impact Wrestling World Champion. Because there's going to be some AEW wrestlers there. You could think it's Daniel Bryan's possibility. John Moxley, who works for New Japan Pro Wrestling, he's basically a lock to be in the tournament, in my opinion. You have CM Punk as well. The only thing is, it runs from July 16th to August 18th, and I don't know if Josh Alexander could take a month and a half away from Impact Wrestling. He could miss one Impact Plus event, and it will be okay. But AEW, they could do the taping prior to him leaving, and they could tape a couple of shows with Josh Alexander. But with AEW, it'll be tough because they run live shows, and I don't know if Tony Khan would want to lose a CM Punk, a Daniel Bryan, or John Moxley for a little over a month. So that's like 4 or 5 shows they're going to miss. I don't know if Tony Khan would want that. So maybe doing tape shows isn't so bad after all. You know what I mean? So Josh Alexander could tape the shows and he needs to be in, and then he could be away for a month and a week, a little over a month. It's July 16th to August 18th. So a little over a month he would be away, and then they could come back and defend the Impact Wrestling World title on the next show after August 18th for Impact Wrestling. But yeah, even if they brought 2 in, because there's 20 spots altogether, I can see Moose going there as well. I can see Josh Alexander and Moose being a part of the G1. One's in the A block, one's in the B block, of course, or they could both be in the same block. But if anyone's being considered, definitely from Impact Wrestling, it's got to be Josh Alexander. And I'm sure after the match with Tomohiro Ishii got on the phone with the higher ups in New Japan Pro Wrestling and said, we got to bring this guy to Japan ASAP. Ace Austin getting his shot, which is fantastic, and I think Josh Alexander should get his shot at the G1 Climax as well in July. Again, AEW, Daniel Bryan has indicated that he's interested in being in the G1. CM Punk, I think, and was interested in John Moxley, but like I said, I don't know if Tony Khan would be too happy to lose his 1, 2, or 3 of his top guys. Well, it's not going to be all 3. If anything, it's going to be at the most 2 of his top guys for 4 or 5 weeks. They're going to miss TV taping, so I couldn't see him being too happy about that. But then again, he might let them go. But regardless on who's going from AEW, I really think that Josh Alexander should get a spot in this year's G1 Climax without a doubt. Without a doubt, Josh Alexander belongs in that tournament this year. Okay, so let's move on to one more thing, and then we're going to wrap it up. Whether you may or you may not know, Ric Flair has indicated that he wants one more match. He says he's training, he plans to wrestle in his return match. He's training with Jay Lethal. When they showed him training with Jay Lethal, I thought he was just getting a workout in, not a big deal. But then the news came out that he plans to wrestle again, and he wants to. He's going to return. He wants an in-ring return. And I don't know how. Well, I do know. I do know how I feel about this. I think at 73 years old, with a pacemaker, and he's not in the best shape, I don't think he should be returning to the ring at all. Ric Flair doesn't need to prove anything to anybody anymore. Ric Flair is an absolute legend in the world of professional wrestling. Ric Flair is one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. You could have a discussion on who the greatest wrestler is in the history of professional wrestling, and Ric Flair's name will always come up. Me, I would bring up Bruno Sammartino. Of course, I'm a Northeast Northeast guy, but I would bring up Ric Flair's name as well. You could argue that Ric Flair is one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. He has nothing to prove anymore. So I am totally against this. I think it's very, very dangerous about Ric Flair, even considering if anybody even thinks about bringing Ric Flair back and letting him wrestle in the ring. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you got to think about the safety of Ric Flair. And he's talking about his return match here. He's Dave Meltzer reported on the latest Wrestler Observer Radio that Flair is planning to do a 6-man tag team match alongside FTR against the Rock and Roll Express and a mystery partner. It doesn't indicate whether it's going to be AEW or if it's going to be NWA or if it's going to be an independent promotion. But I don't like who's going to be the mystery partner. Is it going to be Jay Lethal? Who's going to be their mystery partner? It could be Nikita Koloff. They're going to bring Nikita Koloff back. so if it was Ric Flair, like against like Ricky Morton. I know Ricky Morton's still wrestling, another legend of professional wrestling. Ricky Morton's still wrestling. If it's like Ric Flair against Ricky Morton, and they just have like an exhibition type thing where it's nothing serious. I mean, okay, maybe I would be cool with that, because Ricky Morton is about the same age. Ric Flair is 73 years old, right? As I said, Ricky Morton is close to 70, late 60s. So if they did that, I don't know if there would be much of a fanage. I mean, the novelty of seeing Ric Flair back in the ring, I think, would pique people's interest. But I mean, what is he gonna? They're gonna book him against Will Ospreay? Are they gonna book him against? Are they gonna book him against? Daniel Bryan? Are they going to book him? I'm thinking about is he going to have a death match? I can't remember the death match guy's name. So that's how much I don't like death matches. Well, he's not going to have death matches. Who are they going to book him? Are they going to book him against Kazuchika Okada? Is he going to come back and he's going to go one-on-one against Brody King? Is he going to do a run-in on Brody King? So it's, I mean, and here's Chris Cruz. Actually, Chris Cruz, former WCW announcer, is actually working to block Ric Flair from getting a license. Now, I've had a social media thing with Chris Cruz. I'm not going to get into it. I respect Chris Cruz. I respect what he did with WCW. He used to work for WCW. Just I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Cruz, so just leave it at that. But I agree with Chris Cruz here. So he wrote out, "Hey you Rubes." He posted this on Facebook. I think he unfollowed me on Facebook. I unfollowed him. He said, "Hey you Rubes, I screw around here a lot, but this is serious. Ric Flair should," and this is Chris Cruz posting this, "Ric Flair should not be allowed to wrestle. Some reports indicate he has been working out with Jay Lethal in preparation to returning to the ring. He can't be stopped from doing so in states that don't have athletic commissions and licensing protocols, but insurance companies can step up and refuse to issue a bond to a promotion that books him. And for those states that do have commissions, they should be contacted to demand that they not allow Flair to wrestle. Simply put, Ric Flair returning to the ring is not wise. No how, no way. He's 73 years old, in poor health, an alcoholic. I don't know if Ric Flair is an alcoholic. This is from Chris Cruz, and has a pacemaker installed. Today, I emailed the following to the Maryland State Athletic Commission, since I live in Maryland and will contact other commissions as well. I encourage you also to email the commission and urge its members to deny Flair a license. It won't take long and could help keep Flair alive. Here is the email I sent." I agree with Chris Cruz here 100%. 100%. I'm with Chris Cruz on this one. Ric Flair should not be getting into the ring. Again, I don't know if he's an alcoholic. I know he used to drink a lot. I don't know. I'm sure he dips into a mixed drink every so often. I'm sure he's still unless he's not. I don't know. But I don't know if he's an alcoholic. I know he's had to share drinks in the past. His pacemaker installed. I'm with Chris Cruz 100%. I don't think Ric Flair should be wrestling. I think Ric Flair should just say, you know what? I have my legacy. I'm Ric Flair. Nobody, I'm one of the greatest of all times. There will never be another Ric Flair. I don't need to step in the ring with FTR and take on the Rock and Roll Express and a mystery partner, whoever that may be. Um, I don't need to do it, right? I mean, I could show up at signings and sign autographs, and unless I know he's had issues with money in the past. Maybe he needs the money, but it's not worth putting his health at risk, in my opinion. I mean, he could show up at conventions, sign autographs. He could, his fee could be he could have an astronomical fee. People will pay it. Um, but I think he should remain out of the ring at this point. It's 2022. It's not 1982 anymore. It's 2022. And Ric Flair, please, I'm hoping that you never get in the ring again. You never have another wrestling match ever again. And that's how I feel about that. Okay, so I'm wrapping it up. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Lewis Carlin. This is Shooting Up North. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.